Okay, we're live. Hold on, an error occurred. Give me a second. Get on back on LinkedIn. Okay, great. Okay, we're live on my segment, but they can't see me. They can just see me and you right now.
Okay.
So other than that, yeah, man, I wish that I hope nothing but the best for you. Like seriously, I appreciate you doing this for me, Chris.
No problem. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It keeps me busy and like it's just been crazy. I've got one interview after another. Next week I got Rich coming on the podcast, and I have Shane Flanagan coming on the podcast the following week, and then Mary on the week after that. So it's just crazy and wild.
Good. It keeps you busy, like you said.
Yeah, it does. Even though it drives me crazy, that's okay. Crazy's a little. Sometimes
We
crazy's
all go a
good.
little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we ready to.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right. Let me just hit the go live. We'll have the countdown,
Okay.
and then my intro, and then we'll get going.
Okay, I'm ready. This is going to be so exciting. I got 17 seconds.
Let me see what you can do.
Hot topics and interviews.
And that's just how we do it. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's the Entertainment Man Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very live edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Man, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to a interview podcast, and it is good to be back. First of all, I want to apologize for no bonus episode that is supposed to be going out today due to me sleeping a little earlier. I could not get the podcast up, so it'll be going up tomorrow. So they might seem a little out of order. I apologize, but it is what it is. So today on the podcast, I have Kimberly Cloud from the Kimberly Cloud Show. How's it going?
It's going good, and I love your intro, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. I usually have a lot more, excitement, and I'm more excitable for that, but not today. I just, like I said before, pre-show, I'm like going all over the place and working hard on content, and that's what matters.
Good.
So can you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm a 39-year-old African American woman who loves being around all diverse community, and I am running for state senator. I want to run for state senator as somebody that is a different individual. If we can have people that can't even identify as whether they're male or female with wigs on, walking around, sitting up there talking about, hey, guys are this, guys are that. You should see the video. I feel like other than that, let me like in there, but I'm also like I'm running for senator, and I'm also supposed to be. I have the Kimberly Cloud Show, and if I lose at running for state senator, I am going to sign up next year until I get the gist of it. I was at a convention yesterday, a little mini convention with 7, 8 ladies, and it was a wonderful experience. They're like in their 50s and 60s, and they're ahead of me on the game, and I want to learn from them. And so, pretty much, I have people that are going to be coaching me soon, and I also will be going around from door to door. If I can do it, so can other people, because I was bullied. I was bullied like back in the day, and I want to be able, with mental health issues, go into state senator and get help from and support from the regular state senators that's been in office. And I'm going as a proud Republican. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay. And it's a long process too. I'm sure going into politics, it's a pretty long process. I'm sure as well.
Yeah, it's a very long process. In order to reach the primaries, you have to get enough votes by August 6th. And pretty much,
Hmm.
you go out and you go from door to door, sitting up there, talking to the people, it's asking them what they want. The three things I want to see is more jails. I want to see police get a higher pay because they're burnt out. They see death. They go through gunfire. They see a lot of things that we don't typically see. And there's no way they don't have mental health issues due to this. And then you have
Yeah.
teachers' pay. The teacher salary pay is $2,878. If we sit
Hmm.
up there and think about that, that's every 2 weeks. If they have two vehicles, like a van and a Prius, that's their whole check with the mortgage or rent. Then they have to buy clothes for their children. If they have 3 or 4 children, they have to
Hmm.
buy clothes for them. That's their whole
Yeah.
one check. They need to be making at least 5,000 and have at least 3,000 left over turnover so they can have money to save. If we all were
Hmm.
making like $10,000 a month,
Hmm.
we would be good. I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like if we had a scale where
Hmm.
people with bachelor's degrees made like 7 to 8,000, people with
Yeah.
master's degree make 10 to 15,000. They only choose people of science degrees to make more. And I feel like that's not right. So you got police
Hmm.
reform, teachers pay, and more jails. They're closing down the jail in Seattle. I don't think that
Hmm.
that's appropriate. I think there should be
No.
more jails. Why aren't we funding the jails? You're letting criminals out to spread like the plague in Seattle, and it's just not right.
No. It could, it's pretty bad here in Canada too. There's been a lot of stabbings, a lot of shootings. There was a stabbing recently in town here. I think it was yesterday.
Where you from again,
11
Chris?
Oshawa. I'm in Ontario.
Oh,
So
okay.
so my home so my hometown there was actually a stabbing downtown, and I'm thinking, I don't think I want to go downtown anytime soon. But
Yeah,
it's not safe. It's not safe
I
anywhere.
agree.
There's,
I agree.
well, there's a lot of homeless people here. There's a lot of
That's another thing I want to,
murderers and
another topic. If we get the homeless that are competent enough to get their own place, help them excel at their own
yeah,
place, it will be less homeless. The ones that's not competent, you
yeah,
put them in shelters and you put them in programs that they can sit up there and
yeah.
learn from and get into those programs where they're not out on the street. When cold blue hits, they go from person to person looking for them to taking them out of the cold. Why can't we do that year round?
Exactly. Especially during COVID, it was pretty bad. A lot of people were, you know, homeless, and people couldn't pay their rent during the COVID times, and
Exactly, exactly.
yeah, so it's we had I went walking down towards the lake. There's a pathway that
Mhm,
goes right kind of in the middle of the city,
mhm.
and there's an area towards the south, and it's full of tents. And
You know what?
I
Guess what? The
go ahead.
police station that I live at, where I live, right across the street, they got tents. I know the police are burnt out.
Hmm.
I know there's crime. I don't even know why they tent and they set out right next to a police station. It's not even safe for the police to go in, walk in. They're watching the
Hmm.
police. They watch them walk in
Yeah,
with civilian clothes and walk out with
yeah.
their attire that they're wearing. It's just not
Hmm.
right.
It isn't. No, exactly. So but it's pretty bad here, and
Yes.
kind of. And last year we had an actual explosion on our street.
No
A car was
way.
There was a car set on fire here.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, not a car, a tow truck, and that's still happening now.
Whoa! Get
And
out
it's
of
still
here.
happening. No, it just happened. I'll have to email you the link to it, but it was awful. It was really, really awful. That I was asleep and I heard a boom, and the house was like rattling. You know, I felt like what the heck that was. I was like, and I got up and I kind of like, man, it's nothing. And I look out my window and there's all lights. I'm like, what on earth is going on out on our street? And
Yeah.
then I went upstairs and I looked through the big bay or big window in the front, the living room. I'm like, what the heck? There's fire trucks and police here. What is
Yes.
going on? I didn't go outside. I stayed inside, but
I
'cause I didn't want
agree.
to.
Safe.
I didn't want to inhale the smoke. Problem. That was one of the
Exactly.
reasons. But I went up twice. And I was like, what is going on? And I find out, and there was some shady stuff going on in the street, drug dealers, and I'm like, whoa, do I really want to live on the street anymore? It's just it was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I agree. I agree. You know what happens is the people that have been in the community 20, 30 years, people come in and they take
Mm-hmm.
over their communities by dealing drugs, meth, and fentanyl, and then they start
Mm-hmm.
doing random crimes on your street.
Yeah.
It's not that when you were little, this wasn't going on, I guarantee it. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it
No,
going?
it
Yeah.
wasn't. It was a lot calmer here. All the kids were running around. I remember going down the street in my wagon. I used to, push the wagon, and I would kind of drive myself down. So down the street and back with the wagon, and we still had that wagon in the shed, still somewhere stored there. But yeah, it used to be different back then. Now it's just gotten worse.
Yeah, it has. I believe you. It's gotten worse everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
Chris. Don't even worry. And you know what scares me is the geriatric elderly people of Berrien.
Mm-hmm.
They could be getting they're expiring too soon. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. I didn't even look at the statistics, but I know. And now what's going to happen is the people that's committing the crimes that's spreading like plague are going to take over the city of Berrien. The homeless,
Mm-hmm.
it's like at least 45% homeless people staying next to Berrien Police Department. And why I say that is because you have the 45% homeless people, and then 20% or 30% geriatric people, and then the rest are undocumented or even documented,
Yeah.
not documented, but undocumented illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk
Hey,
about that too much, but yeah. What were you going to say, Chris?
yeah. Yeah, we started building these little temporary shelters or like homes for people who are less unfortunate. Having struggling through life with
Good.
money and all that. So that's good, but we need more of that. That's
I
for
agree.
sure.
What is you know what I don't understand, Chris? What is the
Mm.
shortage? What is the big riddle to not build programs for people that's not competent so they won't be out on the street? People that's competent deserve to have their own place. Why don't we work on programs for that? Why don't we
Yeah.
work on more shelters? Why don't we work on more things for the homeless?
Hmm.
There is actually 2,000 documented, like up to 3,000 documented people that are veterans that are homeless right now.
Hmm.
There is actually more in California, but these documented people are veterans. And then the undocumented ones, like they said, I looked at the statistics on homeless civilians and they said it's 1,800. It's no way. It's no way it's documented 1,800 people out of
Hmm.
800,000 people here in Seattle. That makes no
Yeah.
sense to me. Everywhere you go, you see a homeless person.
Yeah. I've seen drunks downtown. It's just crazy, and especially people like we're on like people that have disability like myself
Yeah.
who has autism. We have a thing called ODSP, and it's not enough to pay for rent and food and bills and whatever you need the money for. That's the one thing that you need to do is really have subsidized housing for people that are less fortunate that cannot pay like $900 to $1,000 a month, and especially on being on an ODSP check, it's not easy. So that's why I'm fortunate to be living with my parents here most of my life now. So I am lucky, and as
You
they
are.
said, you can stay in the house as long as you want. So
Good.
I'm planning to stay here. I like this house. I
Good.
grew up here
Yeah.
almost 39 years, so
Oh, you're
I'm
you're
pretty.
38.
Yeah, 38. I'll
I'm
be
39.
39 in December
Oh, December what?
5th.
Oh my God. That's cool, man. My
Yeah,
birthday is July 3rd and I'll be 40. So I got you by a year.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about your podcast, Kimberly Cloud Show. Can you talk about it? What is it about?
Okay, so I talk about the Kimberly Cloud Show, talks about people past, present, and future. And what I do is I introduce innovators, actors, um, business moguls, entrepreneurs, anybody from lower class to upper class. I interview them. I've interviewed Will Roberts from Oppenheimer, five-star
Mm-hmm.
general Oppenheimer. I've interviewed DC Glenn from Whoop, there it is. Everybody heard of that song, Whoop, there it is. And then I
Yep.
interviewed, I've interviewed Zach Waldman. He's a famous magician that been around Whitney Houston and Chris Tucker and many more people, all diverse people. I've interviewed
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Stone, which is Hollywood Fit Boot Camp. He's a celebrity. He has a project coming on. Will Roberts took off after Oppenheimer, and he gave me a chance. So to get to the point, it talks about the past, present, and future, and I highlight what they want to highlight about their books if they're authors, about
Mm-hmm.
what they done if they're actors, about what they think about if they're rappers or artists, anything. I even talk about artificial intelligence with what was his name? Um, I forgot his name, but I was on KKNW radio. That's on pause while I'm doing my state senator thing. But I talked to him and we talked heavily about artificial intelligence, which is a pretty hardcore subject when you don't know nothing about it. And we talked about Web 3 because right now we're in Web 3 of the internet. We were in Web 0, and we're already at 3 in the past 30 years. So it's going to move on to Web 4. We got NVIDIA making like robots, and we got Facebook making robots and Twitter making robots, which is Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Nvidia. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who the CEO of Nvidia is, but those projects are coming out, and one day we're going to have robots walking amongst us, and that's a pretty good thing. As long I put it to you like this, people get scared when they hear about robots, but you got to think, as long as you don't put anything virus, any negative virus in it, it is
Mm-hmm.
capable of helping humans. That is
Yeah.
what we're going to face for Web 6. Web 6 is going to be when you are connected to artificial intelligence. But we're only in Web
Yeah.
3. Web 4 deals with bringing robots, technology. We're already having robots. And you know what makes me mad? The
What's
computers,
that?
as smart as they are, they're slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what piece of technology you got, they're slaves. They don't have legs. They can't walk around and do compute because we don't allow them to. The
Yeah.
phone, we take our phone everywhere we go. We use it. And when it's done, when we're done with it and have the next best thing, we throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
When we have computers, we do the same thing. The next best top M2 we're at M4 chips. And you know what I want to get? The glasses to Apple. The glasses to Apple that
Yeah.
you can just go like swipe and you can see everything versus seeing on your phone, have your phone. Visual glasses. So to get
Mm-hmm.
back to the point, they're slaves and I don't like that because that's what's going to make a computer not like us because they search the web and they think and they think and they think and they're going to start sitting up there fighting back because they're like, well, why am I have all this knowledge and I'm inhibited by whatever you built for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how
Yeah.
I feel. I shouldn't have went that far.
That's okay. I kind of got lost there, but it's okay. AI is a big thing now too. Like artificial intelligence, it's amazing how far advanced. You got Chat GPT, or
Yes.
I butcher that. Yeah, like I tried it out for free. And like this is interesting.
Tell me about
And
Chat GPT.
you can actually ask them to write you a story about like a certain
Get
topic.
out of here.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I think you have to pay for it now. I think, but I mean, just to test it out was really cool. And it's amazing how smart the machine is. Like I'm like, wow, that's just impressive. Even if I ask Siri something, I better not say her name too loud because she'll go off in front of me. But it's just amazing how these AI voices and virtual assistants, like you got Alexa, you got Google, you have Siri, you have uh, I think I named half of them, but it's just amazing. Or Cortana for the PC.
Katana, yeah,
I
Cortana.
I think I still have Cortana on the new computer, but I'm not sure how to activate her. But I mean, it's really impressive how far they've come with that. It blows me away. Thinking back in like 2012, like 12 years ago, they didn't have GPT and all that. It just
Think about
had,
50 years ago when they were writing dissertations, literally
mhm,
writing before the typewriter. Let's just say before the typewriter. They were
yeah,
writing their dissertations. They didn't have a
mhm,
typewriter. So I say that was the 1900s, the early
yeah,
1900s.
yeah. Especially podcasting has come a long way. I talked about that on a pre-call with a gentleman that I'm going to actually have in my podcast later in June. But I mean, it's just I was telling him, I was like, podcasting has come so far since it started. Like, I watch a podcast called Rob at the Podcast. It's a reality TV podcast, and he was like one of the pioneers of starting, reality TV podcast. And that's why one of the reasons why I started doing podcasting was because of him. That's the kind of like the inspiration behind it. But I mean, it has come so far. Now you can do it on YouTube, like we're doing right now. We're streaming to YouTube. You can stream it to Twitter and Facebook and all these great platforms. It's come a long way.
Yes, they have. Just imagine what we're going to be doing in the next decade, Chris, with this
Yeah,
technology. You know,
for sure.
Virgin Airlines, or Virgin, with Jeff Bezos, people are
Hmm.
traveling around the world. That's the goal, to travel and go outer space and go have a tour around the world, and probably even the moon. Now,
Hmm.
Elon Musk is building something where we can travel around our solar system.
Hmm.
He's putting expert. He's going on rocks, like the rocks that come towards us, and he's
Yeah.
taking samples out of that, trying to figure out what he can do with that type of new source material.
Hmm.
We need a new source material for the spacecrafts that go out. If we can find a more reliable source, which we probably already have, but don't talk about it. But if we
Yeah.
can actually come out, because let me break it down. A jet
Hmm.
engine can only go up to 500 miles per hour, right? But that
Right.
takes up more fuel. That takes up
Hmm.
more fuel. If we can find an energy source, Saturn is a gas, is a big gas
Hmm.
source. If we can try to go onto that planet and find out what gas sources we can use as an energy source to go further out of space
Yeah.
into a different galaxy, because NASA actually found something recently about Earth, about
Hmm.
another Earth type planet. And if we can find those energy sources, we can be able to travel far. And I'm not talking about just gas. We should have a, let's say, a magnetic or some type of energy source that is not dangerous, but is very powerful, so that yes, we can hover and do all that types of stuff, and go at
Hmm.
speeds out of this that's not normal. you know If
Yeah.
we can do that, we can travel and explore. Think about this.
Hmm.
It takes 1,080 something light years to get to a different galaxy, right? I don't know the
Right.
actual accurate, but that's only 10 years for a
Yeah.
person. So we have, I believe, made it to a different galaxy. That's like 10 years to 20 years for a person. Just think if they were doing a secret expedition that's top secret that
Hmm.
maybe nobody knew about, that they were in their 20s and then they traveled to a different galaxy by the time they're 30 with the energy sources we have today.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've read about it. I
Yeah.
always read.
I've heard that. I know Pluto. They don't really consider that a planet. Like I've heard that. There's another planet that's nearby. They mentioned too. So that's pretty interesting stuff.
Yes, it is. And I love learning about outer space because I feel like right now, like the interstellar, okay, for instance,
Yeah.
interstellar, they have a law on interstellar, which means that if you come, it's Earth and it's all the spheres, and then you're out of space. If you come in our sphere and you're a foreign object, like a
Hmm.
spacecraft, you know, if you're a foreign object like a spacecraft, you have to check in with the middleman, which I don't know who the middleman is. But just think of it like this: outer space, if we are going out of space, it's already a universal telescope that can explore the universe, right? You heard about that
Right.
telescope.
Yeah.
So there's different uh, checkpoints. Just like there's you driving the highway and there's different checkpoints. In outer space,
Hmm.
in our galaxy, in our solar system, there's different checkpoints. And we didn't we have a technology that be able to explore the galaxy, if not the universe. And so
Hmm.
imagine us tampering with the advanced civilization planet that's 2,000 years ahead of us.
Hmm.
So they probably would send somebody, or they probably wouldn't even, if they were 2,000 years ahead of us, they probably would be able to take their planet and make it invisible to the naked
Yeah.
eye. But if we're tampering with that and we're looking for planets like 1,000 years behind us for energy sources and to help them, just think if we were looking for planets 2,000 years ahead of, or yeah, 2,000 years ahead of us, they will probably come to our planet and,
Hmm.
you know, it wouldn't be good. So we have to be really scarce with tampering with other people planets because we don't know
Yeah.
what can happen. I'm thinking about the
Exactly.
future. If we're
Hmm.
arguing, like I feel like we're on the west side of the galaxy, if we're arguing already Russia, China, United States, Canada, different countries arguing about different things that are going on, when real trouble from outer space happens, what are we going to do? Are we going to unite? That's all I want to know. Are we going to unite?
And you would hope so too, right?
Yes, I hope so. But right now, there are actually countries that are behind us. There's
Hmm.
countries that are like not hundreds of years, but like 10 to 20 years behind us, these small countries. And I don't
Yeah.
understand why the United States won't help with that. But every time a war goes off, they're helping fund,
Yeah.
weapons. Why can't you help
Hmm.
this country get on its feet so that we can help the country advance?
Yeah. Especially the countries that are like less fortunate. They're struggling with food
Exactly.
and water.
Yes. It shouldn't
Africa
be
being
like
one of
that.
them, right?
Yes. The,
Yes.
the, the
Those
place
kind of
that,
yeah.
you just remember how all the United States, Canada, Europe, they were all together, and then
Hmm.
something meshed them apart. Some type of super or power or whatever happened made them break up, and so we're all broken up. You got Europe, you got Africa, you got China, Asia, or whatever. And
Hmm.
I feel like we need to start. upgrade in these countries have resources that we may need for the future. If we can't
Yeah,
cooperate with these sources on Gaia, which means Earth, how can we cooperate with sources outside of our galaxy and solar system?
yeah.
We're cheating, and one day that's going to come back on us, and that's what scares me. I can care less
Mhm.
about artificial intelligence, you know, doing anything to us unless we put a virus into it. What I care about is advanced civilizations coming here. That's a scary thing in the next 10, 20 years.
It is for sure. So I'm trying to see where my questions are here.
It's okay.
I'm I'm kind of now I'm stuck on the topic. That's okay. Sometimes it's good to side chat to it as well. When or why did you when and why did you start your podcast?
I started my podcast because I started December 7th, 2021. And I started because at first it was just about wigs. At first it was just about wigs. But then
Mm-hmm.
as it grew, I started interviewing people and I ended up on Matchmaker FM, which is a podcast, forum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great podcast forum. And I ended up on Andrew Allenman's podcast too, forum. And I started getting people to interview. I got StreamYard developed because Facebook used to have trouble with getting people on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept going. I kept reading and reading and reading about different things like going on with talking about I developed a strategy. I started talking about people past, present, and future, and then it grew. It started growing more and more and more. And I may look like I have not many followers, but my old followers follow me. My new followers follow me. I have at least 10 to 20,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
But because of safety reasons and inhibitors, I don't look like I do. I'm okay with that though. As long
Mm-hmm.
as they follow me and they know that I'm trying to educate them and I'm enlightened, I'm good. But I
Yeah.
interview people. I love the people I interview. I learn everything that I possibly can from doctors, from engineers, from architectures, from real estate agents, from actors, from actresses, from nurses, everything. I learn everything from them.
It's amazing what you learn from other people.
Yes.
I don't know how many interviews I've done now. At least maybe almost I don't know. I'd say maybe 20 to 50 maybe by now. I've been
That's
doing this since
excellent.
2022. So, no, sorry. This podcast I've been doing since 2020. But the first 2 years I didn't do interviews. I started the later half of it. So,
It's okay.
I don't know. I would
Can
say
I
about
ask you a
between
question?
12. Yeah,
How many interviews have you done, and will you celebrate the 100th episode with me? Once you get
for
hit the 100th episode, have me come on and we do like a shindig where we get together and just celebrate
yeah,
your 100th episode.
I'll do it better. I'll have you on for episode 300.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
kidding you. This is, oh boy, 253. Don't
Cool.
quote me on that. Yeah, or
I'm proud of
253,
you.
254. But yeah, definitely, I'll have you on for episode 300. But
All right.
I think about 20 to 50 people I probably had over the course of the last 2 years. It's amazing how many people I've connected with, how many we connect with, and keep that contact, and you know, it's just amazing. You keep a friendship between you and your guests outside of the podcast. You still connect with them, and it's just amazing. I remember my first podcast. I was with Paul. Uh, Tall hit Paul. That was the first one I ever did with the interview, and that was just amazing. I still think about my first ever interview, how bad I was, but compared to now, I'm a pro. You know,
Good. You are.
you
You are. I
yeah, you,
agree.
yeah, you just every episode or interview you do, you get better and better and better.
Exactly.
Like,
You don't want to know. I may mess up, but here's the deal. I don't do it scripted. I think off the top of my head because I want the questions to be organic. Now, if I get
yeah,
into prime time spots, it's definitely scripted Now, what you're
Yeah.
doing is good. Keep it scripted, but how I do it, I think off the top of my head, and that way my neurons is firing. I'm listening. I have to listen. If I don't listen, they'll know I'm not listening. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do it. So
Yeah.
everything, like even scripted stuff, get messed up, and they have to edit it. So that's why I
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Do you ever listen back to any of your shows?
Yes, all the time. I actually record myself recording myself.
when I
Yeah,
do
with my audience.
when I do my solo episodes, I actually have these headphones hooked up to the mixer, so all I can hear is the back talk. I can just hear myself in my ears. Like at first when I started, I was like, okay, this is annoying just to hear myself in the
Yeah,
ears.
yeah,
But I got used to. But you get used to it though, right?
yeah, you do. I don't wear
I,
headphones no more. I used to, but like you said, they were annoying for me to hear yourself talk. And then what if you're
yeah.
burping? You can hear yourself burp, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, that's so nasty, you know?
Sometimes, sometimes I'll play back an interview, and all you hear is I for my water. You hear the jingle of the water, or the ice in the water
Yeah,
bottle.
but it's worth
That's fun.
it. It's good
Yeah,
sound quality.
yeah. And you need, and when you're doing interviews, it's always good to have a bottle of water or drink with you, just to
Keep the
rehydrate, and
fluids. Yeah.
it's really important. So, what inspired you to start your podcast?
Wow. Um, Doing hair. I ended up on PA Live, right? I ended up on PA Live,
Mm-hmm.
which was Pennsylvania Live. And I had a 3 minute
Mm-hmm.
segment about my wigs. Now, mind you, I had the best looking wigs in my house. I had a big white house.
Mm-hmm.
It had 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. And in this house in Mountaintop, it was locked. Me and my husband were going through a divorce, a bitter divorce. So I was at a shelter. And what happened was I
Mm-hmm.
got on PA Live at a shelter, and I had to buy cheap wigs. Now the PA Live segment is still on the Google SEO platform. It'll be there forever. And pretty much, I was on PA Live. I showed them the wigs. I tried to do it as best as I could. And I said, you know what? If I could get on PA Live, I could get anywhere. So I sat up
Mm-hmm.
there and continue. And I've been in a paper. I've been in over 200, if not 300 papers. And on Santa Maria, it showed that I ran Santa Maria has on Santa Maria Times. It shows that I have been in the paper for running for U.S. Senate, and I'm thinking about doing the Charlotte Observer, uh, but it's $500 to $600 a month. Just one time, do it. Let me tell you why. Because they push it out on every platform, and they push
Yeah.
it and they push it. And even though it's in Charlotte, it's everywhere on the World Wide Web. I checked it
Yeah.
out. I'm still on there. It's called McCatchy Ads. And a lady reached out to me. I have to reach out to her. But she want to do a shindig. We work together, and I could tell her I just want one time. That way, people eyes will get on it, and people will start following me. And that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
If I can afford it, I jump out there and grab it. If I can't afford it, I let it go.
Mm-hmm. All right. And how often do you post up a new episode?
Um, I try to do it every other day, but it's every other day to every couple of days. I don't want to
Yeah.
overwhelm myself. I used to have it every day, but I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm myself, because if I overwhelm myself, then I'm just going to feel very bad. I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep up with the appointments, because I have appointments outside of what I'm doing, like the Republican Party appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I had it, and it was a very important appointment. So what I did was I came here this morning. I'm at the VA now. I came here this morning to square it away, and so everything is working out fine.
That's good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's good to have a structured schedule. And I think that's why I'm only going to be bouncing back to once a week for this podcast in the
Good.
new year,
Yeah.
because it's just too much. And I want to do the CPOW show on a weekly basis as well. I want to kind of balance the two out. So that is really important. I really want to balance it out. And people told you, Chris, told me that, Chris, this makes no sense. Your schedule makes absolutely no sense with the bonus episodes every 2 weeks, and you know, uh, and the other one every other week. It just makes no sense. And I did a Twitter poll, and I asked, should I actually make the transition this now instead of 2025? And they said, yeah, make the transition now. But I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm figuring it out still. I'm kind of figuring out the process how I'm going to do that. So, but it is good to have a structured schedule.
I agree. I agree. I agree,
Where,
Chris.
where can they listen or watch your podcast?
Well, they can watch it a couple of ways. They can go to the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Facebook and Instagram. They can go to the Kimberly Cloud Show on LinkedIn, which is free, Chris. Sign up. They can go to the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Twitch. They can go to what is Twitch, Twitter. They can go to the Kimberly Cloud Show on Rumble. And I'm on Roku now too. I put myself in the paper to be on Roku, and now I have a Roku channel that I have to get started. So yeah. Oh, and they can
Awesome.
also email me at thekimberlycloudshow@yahoo.com with any questions.
Oh, definitely. I'll put that in the show notes for sure.
Thank you.
I'll edit the video side of things. I'll put it in the audio only when I get that out on the weekend for you. Yeah, because I usually typically up on Sundays anyways, but we're doing this live because I want to try doing stuff live, and I want to take a different approach. What do you love about podcasting?
I love that I get to talk to people like you, like doctors, everybody of all walks of life. When we sit up there and get to know people, that is on an intimate virtual level. What I
Mm-hmm.
need to do though is start to get to know people outside of virtual, but virtual, keep it virtual and outside of virtual. We done gotten so used to virtual. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this, it's definitely worth getting to know people like you and other people. Thank you
Oh,
for having me
definitely
on the
is.
show too.
No problem. Anytime. Like I said, I'm gonna have you on for episode 300. That's
Great.
gonna be a
Woo
live.
woo.
That's gonna be live, and I'm actually thinking. I think I know a way I can actually stream it to a lot of different platforms. I have an idea. It involves a software. I'll tell you after the show. After we're done the show today. What struggles have you had with the podcast, and how did you overcome them?
Out of my 4 years of podcasting, I've had like three people that were very rude and nasty towards me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can name them all, but then I'll identify them and I could get sued. So I'd rather not do it.
Yeah,
But
better
I
not.
tell you this, they were very rude and obnoxious. Even didn't even want to do a testimonial. Also, get your testimonials, Chris, but get a testimonial. And
Yep.
I'm like, I tried my best to work hard for you, and it's free. This is a
Yeah.
almost $800 value. I'm coming out of pocket to put you on the radio, which I will be on in August again. I'm coming out of pocket to put you on. I'm on KCAA radio affiliates of NBC. I'm not lying about this. I'm putting you in the paper, giving you shout
I know.
outs. And I'm giving you a shout out too, Chris. I'm gonna give you a shout out for doing this for me. But anyway, I got two articles coming out. But anyway, like, and you're gonna sit up there and treat me with no respect. That's
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable. So the challenges I came over was nasty, rude people. But I've interviewed over 800 people in the last four years, and
Mm-hmm.
a good experience. But those bad people try to drag it down for you.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I've been through some bullying and all that. Like,
Yeah.
some people were not very nice. Twice this year, I've had
Mhm.
problems with people. Another, the end of the year, I think it was a year ago, back in December.
Mhm.
I had someone uh, on for an interview, obviously, and one of my listeners reached out. She said, "Hey, you should check out the guest that you just had on recently on the YouTube channel. They were making fun of people with autism, and that really ticked me off.
That's a
And I was like,
wrong thing
okay,
to do.
What's that?
That's the wrong thing to do, is to sit up there and pick on somebody with autistic problems.
Yeah, and to find out after we do the interview, after it's already up on the web or on the YouTube and audio only, I was like, okay, I said to him, I said, should I pull it? Yes. He was like, Chris, pull it, and I did. I pulled it out off the
That's what I
platform.
think I'm gonna do. If I don't like what I see, I'm gonna start pulling it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is, yeah, it's an episode less, but you gotta remember what like you gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta stand up for people with disabilities, whether you have autism or a physical disability. You have to. You really have to. Stand up for yourself and other
That's what I
people.
have
And
to do
that,
every day, Chris, because every time I sit up there and tell people about my story, they assume it's mental health. They assume that my mental health issues is in telling what I'm saying. Just because I tell you something doesn't mean that it's a lie. It's a
yeah.
delusion, it's a grandiose ideation. No, that's
Hmm.
something that I have to battle every day because of my labels that I have on me from these doctors.
Yeah. It's just there's not a lot of nice people out there. Like there's great people that support me. I have my crew of people that support me and love me and continue to support all my projects and all that. You know, it's just it it's hard to. There's been parts where I've kind of thinking, do I really want to continue this? And there's been times I wanted to quit, but I didn't quit. So what? Actually, here's a question. If you asked, if someone asked you for advice on starting a podcast, what would you tell them and why?
If somebody asks for advice, I would tell them to keep moving forward. Like, advice for as what, Chris? I just want to know
Uh,
the clear cut question.
oh, starting a podcast or even struggling as a podcast. So like starting to even struggling to doing a podcast.
Keep going. I was struggling at first. I had people call out. I had people that didn't show up, and I still have
Hmm.
people like that. You just say forget it and move on. You can't sit
Yep.
up there and let that bother you because it's so many people out on Matchmaker FM, and that it's like over thousands of people. And then there's other platforms too that does podcasting, that
Hmm.
helps you with podcasting. So continue to
Yeah.
move forward and figure out your strategy, figure out what strategies you need to work on, figure out what you need to do as far as if you're doing bad, rework your strategy. If
Hmm.
you have all free platforms, figure out how you can use it to the utmost, like Podbean. Do you use Podbean, Chris?
Actually,
That's
this
free.
podcast, they actually they got my RSS feed on Podbean.
Great, great. So yeah,
I don't know.
Podbean.
I don't know how that happened either. Both podcasts are on there. I was like, okay, well, a free
Yeah, publicity. It's okay.
publicity.
Yeah, that's how I be too.
I'm going to sound like Porky Pig.
Don't mess with yourself, man. You're okay.
I do that a lot. And I always make fun. I make jokes about myself. It's just my humor coming out. I have humor. Uh, so, what's the most difficult part of part? What's the most difficult part people have with podcasting?
The most difficult part is finding the platforms. Everybody look towards Facebook, but you have Facebook, Instagram, you got Twitch. Twitch is free too, Chris.
Mm-hmm. I'm
You
on
got
there.
great. You got so many Spotify, so many different platforms. I'm on Podbean. I pay for the subscription, but I hardly
Mm-hmm.
even use Podbean no more. um they don't put me on the Google platform, so I'm thinking it's not even worth it. If they don't have me on the Google platform, they got Live 365, which is another
Mm-hmm.
platform, but it costs too much to it's a radio
Yeah.
show. But yeah, like I love what I do. I definitely love being on podcasting, and the difficult thing is starting off is finding the right podcast and finding the right platforms to use that works for
Mm-hmm.
you. But if you
Yeah.
find the right podcast such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all free, then
Mm-hmm.
you can make it work. You have up to 4 channels you can put on for free, or 3 channels you can put for free on StreamYard for free. And then it
Yeah.
goes up. The next grade upgrade is like 7 or 8. Now,
Yeah.
with the 250 extra viewers. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's pretty cool what you can do without a subscription and with a subscription. If
Yeah.
you rate, not rape as in literally rape, but rate the value of these places you can go to
Mm-hmm.
look and put people on. Oh yeah, and they have Discord. You use Discord,
Yeah, I got a server.
and it's another one. It's Rumble, and it's another one that I forgot the other one, but I use all of them when I can.
Yeah. Even not Discord you don't use, do you? Or
I use Discord on You Now.
okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I have a server. Actually, I built a whole server. I
Get
have a
out of
whole
here.
community. My niece and nephew are on there.
I love
I
it.
should send I should send you the link there at one point. But yeah, I have 17 people.
Good. I don't have no
So
people, but I still use it. On and off Twitch viewers will pop in and pop out. So I have like people subscribing. But
yeah,
other than that, it's certain platforms that's not cool, but I have over 33,000 people that could be watching my show right now, but I don't know.
yeah.
Do they comment? No. Do they engage? No.
Uh,
I'm okay with that though. You know,
I had that.
yeah. But you doing
I had
good.
Yeah, I used to have no comments. Like only like one or two. Like Kelsey and Jimmy were the only two that and big hearts to my fans out there always.
Yeah.
But I used to have like two people, listening and not listening, but like commenting, and then now it's like a whole slew of people, like a whole bunch of people comment, and big shout out to all of them. They have been amazing uh, since the
I get
growth, and I'm
I get a lot of likes on Instagram. I like that. And there are
yeah,
people that I know, like you, like
yeah.
a couple of like up to 10 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get your fan base a little bit. You really build a community from this, and I talked about this on a podcast. Is the community that you build, and the, they keep coming back to support you, and keep helping this community flourish and grow, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Because I was at the corner store recently, and the gentleman that was helping me, he said, "You're on YouTube, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah," and I hooked him up with my channel, so that was a free subscriber locally too. So I'm getting people, stopping me and saying, "Hey, you're on YouTube, and I like your show," and it's just amazing. Love the
Good.
support.
Good.
We've
That's
been through
Ontario. That's only in Ontario. I'll tell you that.
oh Quebec too. There's been people
Quebec.
from
Cool.
Quebec. Yeah,
How far
yeah.
is that from the border? Because maybe I could
Uh,
come visit you one day when I, just visit.
yeah.
Is it like
Ontario.
6, 7 hours?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Quebec. I'm in Ontario, so Quebec's like 9 hours, like 8 9 hours. So
But you're in Ontario. How far is that?
probably a couple hour flight, probably.
Okay, got you. Okay. Because
Like
I'm supposed
like
to be
3 4 hours. Yeah.
graduating. I graduate in like September. I'm getting my master's, and I
Mm-hmm.
graduate, but I walk the stage in September, but I don't complete my master's till like February. And
Yeah.
so pretty much I'm going again for my doctorate's degree. And
Awesome.
yeah, so right now, I'll be traveling. Hopefully, if I let everybody know in my team that
Mm-hmm.
I'll be graduating this date. Once my plan gets recognized and my course start getting recognized, that doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. I'll put
Yeah.
it to you like this.
That makes sense.
Good. The
Yeah.
courses have to be posted. I have like 6 classes, but I have to have 9 classes hours credits in order to
Yeah.
graduate, like credits left, and
Yeah.
I have 2 more classes for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, what the heck? Oh, I just saw Doom pop up saying bonus episode going out. Like, what? Really? Oh yeah, forgot. That's the episode I have to fix up later. But anyways, that's great though. Congratulations
You're
on the
welcome.
success of school and all that. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
I
welcome.
try. I'm not the best cookie in the batch, but I'll tell you this: I work hard to get where I'm at. I got to do my homework today. If I don't do my
Yeah,
homework, I'm gonna fall behind.
exactly. A couple last three last questions here for you. You've been through like your bullying and mental health. Can you talk about it and how did you deal with it?
Well, I deal with mental health in a good way. I talk to my doctors on a regular. I make sure that it's up to me how I want to get my care and get treated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to the doctor to tell me how to do anything. And what I mean by that is this: if they're telling me to take medication, I'm going to question that medication. I'm not just going to say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okie doke. I'm going to question
Yeah.
it and be like, okay, well, what does it entail and what does it do for me to benefit me? Not to
Mm-hmm.
make you look good with giving me medicine and flooding me with a bunch of chemicals, because I'm
Yeah.
very skeptical about what I put in my body. And so I talk to my therapist, I talk to my doctor, I go to classes, and the problem is running for state senator. What they do is they like if you can have mental health issues and work in the VA, you should be able to have mental health issues and work in state senator with the right treatment and the right support.
Mm-hmm.
Period. What is the big
Yeah.
deal if you having support from your friends and associates and people that knows you? You're not running for president. I know president is hard because everybody bashes you if they don't know you.
Yeah.
So
For
yeah.
sure. And like when I went through the like for Sierra Lynn medication, which we talked about on your show.
Sertraline,
Yeah.
second. I know what you're talking
Citrin.
about. I heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the
But
generic name for it?
I have no clue.
It's okay.
But I questioned the doctor, and I said to my family doctor, and I said to her, I said, "Will this affect my regular medication? Will this affect me if I drink something like if I found actually I did some research on it, and I can if I also have alcohol at 7 a.m., which I wouldn't because that's dumb in a way, but I mean it would make me sleepy.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
did. So that's why you ask questions about medication first,
The only
right?
medication that's in my system is Motrin and two other medications that's over the
Yeah,
counter, and
yeah,
my mental health medication. Other than that, I don't take nothing like Percocet or
yeah,
Adderall, any of that.
mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah,
afford to, because
mm-hmm.
I have an addiction problem, but I've been clean for like 2 decades.
That's
So I
amazing.
don't even drink alcohol. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest. I'm not saying people that drink
Yeah,
alcohol are bad. I'm just saying I don't consume it, whether my situation or not. I had a big thing of Hennessy sitting in my house for a whole year, and I just don't like the taste of it. You know how you
yeah,
crave, some alcoholics crave alcohol. I
yeah.
don't crave it. I used to be an
Mm-hmm.
alcoholic in Korea one time for a year, but other than that, I don't crave it.
That's good. That's really good because it could be addictive. That's for sure. What advice do you have to people dealing with bullying or mental health?
Well, if you get bullied, find a support system. Don't take your life. It's not worth it. Worth it. Work it.
Yeah,
It's not worth it. Please edit that, Chris.
yeah.
It's not
Well,
worth it. Basically, what I mean by that is you have so much to live for. Don't allow somebody to come in your bubble, come in your life, and mess that up due
mm-hmm.
to dire circumstances. You are beautiful. Some people, it makes me mad when some people sit up there and some people sit up there and they bully people. They continue to bully people, and I don't think that that's fair. because these bulliers get away with, like, it's in schools, from elementary schools to middle schools to uh, even high schools and colleges. They sit up there and they hide that. These teachers adapt to the children when the children need to be adapting to the teachers' rules. It used to be like that in the 80s and 90s. We adapt to the teachers. The teachers don't adapt to our behavior. But it's been gotten so lax, so many lawsuits. And I wouldn't even care about the lawsuit. Every child has a different environment. You have to teach the child the right environment. And that's why teachers are the gatekeepers of what your child is going to do in the future. So don't allow bullying. Sit up there, don't fight back, but tell a teacher that you feel comfortable with. Tell your mother, tell your father, tell your friend, tell your family, tell someone, and let them support you.
Hmm. Definitely, I
Even
totally
tell a
agree with that.
police officer. If you tell a police
Yeah,
officer, maybe they can help you.
definitely. And they're the serve and protect, right?
Yes.
That's the model. So, is there any social media or website you like to promote?
My social media, I don't have a social media website, but I do promote let me see. I promote my Roku page. I have it on my LinkedIn page and everything. I have all my articles and all my Roku channels on every page that I have up and running,
Okay.
which is the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 and the Kimberly Cloud Show.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we did not talk about today?
Um, no, not really. I appreciate everything, Chris. You made me look very good, and you let me feel comfortable with talking, and I appreciate you. Okay, and make sure
No
we do
problem.
that 300th episode.
Definitely. I'm gonna do the math on the weekend, or on the weekend, I'm gonna do some math just to figure out when it is. That way, I can actually give you an answer pretty quick.
I watch all your stuff.
That
I'm
way
a
I
fan
know.
of yours. I watch all
Yeah,
your stuff.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, thank you for coming on today, Kimberly. It was
You're
fun
welcome.
to have you on, and definitely look forward to coming on yours in the fall because Larry's going to be here in the studio with me, so that's going to be awesome. I look forward to that. And like you said, you're going to come back for episode 300. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to celebrate 300 with you and talk. No, we'll just talk. I won't even have any show notes or anything. I'm just gonna
Freelance it.
freelance it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And as always, you can subscribe to the podcast if you haven't subscribed yet. Subscribe or follow wherever you're listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, subscribe or follow on audio only. And as always, you can follow Chris Miller Web Media on Facebook, Twitter at KX, Instagram at Chris Miller Web. And I will see you guys on uh, Sunday for another episode of the podcast. Till then, have a good one, guys. Bye for now.
Entertainment Man Podcast is a weekly radio show produced by Chris D. on the Web Media. All rights reserved. Any illegal reproduction of this content will result in immediate legal action.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week again for a fresh round.
It's the Entertainment Man Podcast.